What's going on, everyone? It's Jimbo with, I was gonna say the auto detailing podcast, but I guess you're watching this on YouTube or some YouTube channel, so I guess I'd be Jimbo from this YouTube channel. I don't really know, I kind of biffed that one up. Anyway, today we're working on this, I think it's an 87 Toyota Land Cruiser that's been fully restored. The owner just wants to get it kind of looking fresh and clean again, get the paint cleaned out. So what we're doing is a wash, a clay bar, which is what I'm going to show you today how I do that, a little bit faster than traditional clay, and then what we're going to be doing is waxing it. But I could show you how to clay bar and wax in the same step. In fact, let me go get the clay bar. Okay. So traditionally, or kind of the older school way to do it is with the Clay Magic, something like this, which comes out, obviously you can tell this has been used, and if you have that to kind of loosen it back up, just spray it down with, I'm using D156, but you could use the clay lube or really any liquid of your choice, sometimes even water, though I would suggest something with a little bit more protection against the clay bar and the paint, because it can be abrasive sometimes. Especially, you don't want to drop these on the ground, these traditional clay bars like that. So traditionally what you would do is have a clay bar like this, you would spray the surface down, and that's really where you want it to be very lubricated. Obviously I'm doing this in a garage, you can do it outside, but if you're going to do it in a hotter panel or on a hotter panel or something like that, you're going to want the surface wetter. But instead of doing this, and this is good if the car's not real bad, this traditional clay bar like that will make quick work of that. If the car's not really rough and really doesn't have a ton of contaminants, you could do the roughness test with a plastic baggie, stick your hand in a plastic baggie and rub it on the surface. But I already know after washing this that the surface isn't that bad, so I could get away with that. But what I'm going to show you is how to do it with something like this. Now this is the clay disc. I happen to like the clay disc better because the back has a Velcro, and you can attach it to a DA machine, and for a car that's heavily contaminated, make really quick work of that clay bar step. I just happen to like these because I can put it on the clay bar, I can put it on the machine, or it just happens to fit really nicely in my hand as I'm going across the surface. This is the 6-inch. I do prefer the 5-inch, but when I ordered this one I messed up. Now, the downside to these is as they get old, they have the potential to mar the paint, as well as if you don't have the surface lubricated enough or enough water or solution on the surface, you could get what is called a clay skid. And what a clay skid is it looks like well, when you skid your undies, maybe you let a little fart out but a little extra came out and you got a little skid in your undies. That's what it'll look like, but actually on the surface of the paint. So with these you have to take a little bit more caution than you would with the traditional clay bar, okay? So, but if you're looking for make that clay step really super quick, the clay disc, the clay mitt, the clay towel, they're all going to be essentially the same. Again, the difference why I like the clay disc is the Velcro on the back. If I have a really heavily contaminated car, I could hit it on a DA. So what you're going to want to do is really spray down the surface. Again, this is important to make sure the surface is super lubricated. Okay, so as you can see, I actually cheated. This isn't D156 in here. This is actually a waterless solution, which a waterless solution is perfect for something like this. Again, make sure the surface is nice and wet. And then you're just gonna work the clay down. If you need to, don't be afraid to respray that surface just to make sure it's wet, okay? And then once you hear all the roughness has gone away, you don't need to apply any pressure at all. Just really let the clay mitt do the work, or the clay disc or clay whatever. Okay, so that panel's done. Again, this surface is super clean as it goes. And then I'm using this Korean Plush, the fluffy final wipe towel. This one's from autofiber.com. This towel is legit. Super plush, super soft, and I love it for final wipe downs, or in this situation too. So, because the thing is you have the surface super wet, so you're gonna want a towel that's gonna pick up a lot of that wetness, or a lot of that moisture. So this Korean Plush, I wanna call it like the fluffy fluff, but it's super fluffy, and you can see almost with one wipe, you've got the surface completely dry. and you've literally, the moisture of the water hasn't even seeped through to this other side of the towel. So when you go to flip it over, you can essentially use that next side again to really soak up the rest of that wipe down. So I love these super fluffy towels from Autofiber. And in fact, you could use my code JIMBO. I'll have it in the show notes below, as well as all the links for all the products that I'm using in the show notes below. But you can save 20% on these towels. And this towel, you get 3 of them in the JIMBO kit at autofiber.com. Just use code JIMBO, you're gonna get 20% off. But as you can see, this surface with essentially 2 sides of that towel, completely dry, completely clayed, looking extremely good, ready for wax, sealant, or whatever. I have another video that I'll try to remember to link below, where you can wash wax and clay, or wash clay and wax in one single step. But the purpose of this video was just to really highlight the benefits of having a really nice plush microfiber towel, like this fluffy final wipe down towel, the gray one, and the clay disc. So of course all these I'll have linked below, but I always reach for the clay disc over the traditional clay bar, but either one are gonna do good. You don't really have to worry about marring as bad with the traditional clay as you would with the clay bar, or the clay disc rather, when they get older. But again, just monitor this and see how it's working as you use it per car. I will usually store it in a towel, not a nicer towel like this, but one of my cheaper towels. I'll store it and then put it in a plastic baggie so it doesn't stick, because if this warms up it'll stick to the bag, or in a plastic container. These are good stored in that as well. The benefit to these is, unlike the traditional clay bar, if you drop it you have to toss it. These will stick around for a long time, and if you drop it you could just wash it. So I usually will stick it in my bucket or leave it up on the car. So yeah, that's how you can clay bar your car significantly faster, and even dry it faster with a really nice plush microfiber towel. Check out autofiber.com if you want to save 20%. Why not save 20%? Just use code JIMBO. I'll have all the show notes in the link below. Hope you'll subscribe. Check out the next one.